I've got an obligation to speak up every place I can about what is fair for all of us. And it horrifies me, the discussion that's going on in this country. It just horrifies me. And if people like us don't speak up, proactively speak up on this, take a stand on this sort of thing, then I fear for, frankly, the future of this country. Do me a favor, read today, if you haven't, go back and read it, the Leonard Pitts column on the op-ed page of the Herald. I regard it as frightening. I promise you, I do not think democracy is guaranteed, or this republic is guaranteed. It was scary to me in the 2000 election how much it felt to me that we were sort of on the brink. And now we've become more polarized. And the country can't do anything, can't move anywhere, in my estimation, which is frightening. So I thank God for people like you and your willingness to be involved in something like this. You'll hear from Caesar next, and then Cheryl talking about Americans for Immigrant Justice, which is the next evolution of FIAC and a national evolution. And it's right and fair for Miami to be at the epicenter of helping Americans understand what our full obligations are. Thank you, Caesar.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a couple minutes and bring this to our Miami level. And I want you to look at that picture over here on that wall. That's Miami 1920. That is exactly this area in 1920. And if you see the Miami News Tower is occurring there, you know, it's happening. There was a building boom going on in Miami at that time. And that was the Port of Miami, because if you look out there, all those islands, everything else was not around. And I want you to look outside the window today and see the new Miami. And I will submit to you that the difference between that picture and what you see here is immigrants that came to this country. And that happened in Miami. And it's a unique place for us to be in. So as Cheryl and Dave had asked me to get involved, I wanted to bring you this story. A story about me only because, you know, I've been doing it for the last year. The last year I had spent going around the country for the American Bar Association, holding hearings in predominantly Hispanic communities. They are two very important people here who are part of that commission, Dr. Eduardo Padron and Frank Angones. And we have been to a few cities. And one of the things you find out very quickly is that we in Miami live in a bubble. And if you think that what is happening in the rest of the country is what's happening in Miami, you really have not gotten around to see that. I have not gotten around to see it. So I was shocked when I saw what is going on with immigration, the targeting of immigrants, particularly Hispanics, and what's going on in the United States of America. It was something, just so you know my background, I came here in 1960 and my father moved us to North Miami in 1960. I did not grow up with another Cuban anywhere near me within a 10-mile radius, because my father wanted me and my family and my brothers and sisters to assimilate. And he told us, he sat us down, I just remember, within a week of being here, and I said, this is your new country. Learn the language, learn the culture, this is it. You will never go back to Cuba. Always be proud that you're Hispanic, always be proud that you're Cuban. But this is your new country. So I grew up with that mentality. I am an American in every way, shape, and form, not because I was born here, but because I believe in all the key principles that Americans believe in. The same civics classes that they took, I took. and they have been, implanted in me quite well. So as I look at what is happening in the rest of the country, and it really is frightening. What Dave said is I have seen it firsthand. I have testimony from folks, from people, from leaders, from actual individuals who are great people, people who built this country, that now do not feel safe in this country, that feel being targeted, etc. And that's created a major issue. And I see us as Miami living in this incredible world that we have built. And it wasn't without some angst at the beginning, and there were some frictions, but I think we have really learned to live with each other and to live together. And I give no one more credit than Eduardo Padron and Miami-Dade College, because I have seen what occurs in those classrooms, and that's where this community begins to be built, in those classrooms at Miami-Dade Junior College and at FIU, etc., because people from different countries, from different races, from different ethnic backgrounds, they get to know each other as human beings. And when you get to know somebody as human beings, you realize they have the same issues you have. And so, you know, that those barriers break down quite a bit. But I thought that if in this community that we have seen what the value of immigration is, we've seen how it's been built. If we don't take a stand, if we assume that the rest of the country is the way it is here, we will be sorry one of these days, because I can assure you it will affect us. You know, we came very close, even here in Florida, with all what we have, came very close to having an Arizona-type law passed in this state. And the chances are that it's going to be a hell of a fight coming up next year. And this is in a place where we understand the value of immigration, we understand the value of people coming together. And so my only point here is that we ought to, if there's any community that can understand this better, I don't know of any other modern city in the United States that has been built the way this community has been built. And I just think that we have an obligation to let people know how it works and why is it important and why this is the way to the future. And as Dave said, look, in difficult economic times, difficult things happen. It took me a long time when I read history to understand how things could happen and these horrible things that happen in history. And it's pretty clear that it happens around bad economic times. Bad economic times really bring out the worst of people. And I have seen in the last 5 or 6 years politicians taking positions that would have been totally unacceptable 5 or 6 years ago. Now they're mainstream. And we let it go, and we don't stand up ourselves, and we don't speak about it, and one day we will look back and saying, you know, we should have done a little bit better. So with that in mind, let me introduce you to Cheryl Little, who is the head of what is now named American for Immigrant Center. I have known Cheryl for a long time. She had been in the trenches fighting the battles for fairness and immigration as long as I have known her for a lot of years. It is a lonely place to be. I can assure you, you're taking cases that sometimes are not the ones that are going to be in the paper, etc., that you're fighting for one human being at a time. And it's worth fighting for these human beings. Some of the cases that I know she has taken have been incredible. You know, she'll show you a very short video, and I think will give you a better sense of what they do. Cheryl?
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Burson Marsteller, for helping us today. And thank all of you. I know you're all incredibly busy, and I know you're taking time that's very valuable to be here with us this morning, and it's deeply appreciated. Why did FIAC begin? Well, the Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center began when Sister Maureen Kelleher, Sister Catherine Cassidy, and I were attorneys working at a legal services program. And we believed that a law was about to pass which was going to prevent the legal service attorneys from representing most immigrants unless they were already legal. And we went, oh my goodness. And so we opened our doors on January 2nd of 1996. The first year alone, we inherited 5,000 cases that legal services attorneys could no longer take. We had a staff of 10 and a budget of $400,000. This year, we have a staff of about 32, 33, and a budget of about $3.2 million. I am so proud of our